What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction on this channel, man. Today we are in tune for another very interesting topic of conversation, alright? Now check me out. Before we even get into this video, I do want to apologize for the inconsistent uploads over the past couple of days. You guys know I post every single day, literally. But for the past couple of days, your boy was traveling back and forth from Miami to New York, but I'm finally happy to say that we closed on our first piece of Miami, Florida real estate, bruh. Very, very excited about that. Your boy just purchased a condo out in Miami. And I will be posting an entire video on my Patreon on how it went, the entire process, and how you guys can do it for yourself starting at a young age, alright? Your boy's only 23, but I'm sure you guys could do it at a younger age, especially with the tips and tricks I'm posting on my Patreon on how to make money in this day and age. But check me out. We're about to be hopping into this video right here. Now, in this video in particular, I do want to talk about a couple of things, and this is something I'm going to be posting on my Patreon tonight. But the use of celebrities to promote agendas. Now, this is a topic of conversation that we have on this channel. But I'm very, very glad to see that this comedian right here, Dave Chappelle, is literally exposing how the industry works live on stage. Now, I was literally just watching this because my father recommended that I watch this video, and I thought nothing of it in the beginning. But as I continue to watch, Dave Chappelle is literally exposing a lot of shit that goes on behind closed doors in the industry and how they literally create these artists or create these contracts for artists to sign that literally give the industry and these record labels or these management companies the ability to control and force these celebrities, artists, comedians, whoever they are in particular, to do whatever they want, alright? So tonight on my Patreon, I'm going to be dropping a video literally dedicated to how these agendas actually work. I'm going to be talking about how they are formed. I'm going to be talking about how they actually convince the mass majority of people to fall into an agenda and how they put it in our... I'm going to be talking about everything agenda related, even different agendas that they have against us right now, and also how you can avoid being a part of a specific agenda, alright? Now check me out. We're about to hop into this video of Dave Chappelle exposing how they use celebrities to promote agendas and how they structure contracts to basically have these celebrities sell themselves over to the industry. We're about to hop into it. Make sure I do leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure I do subscribe to the Patreon as well, linked in the description, and it will be the first link in the comment section as well. That is where I'm the most interactive with you guys. I just had a conversation with somebody on my Patreon the other day. And I actually want to give a major shout out to Renita Bolden for subscribing to the Patreon. I appreciate you for supporting the Patreon. And I also want to give a major shout out to her YouTube channel, which is April Rosalie, where she posts music and stuff like that. So make sure I go check her out. Like I said, shout out to you. If you guys do want a shout out on this YouTube channel, then make sure you guys go subscribe over to the Patreon. Like I said, that is where I'm the most interactive with you guys. But without further ado, man, let's hop right into this video and let's hear Dave Chappelle's first-hand experience in the industry, bro.
Do you know why Prince? Do you know why Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means?
They laughing, but it's not funny.
It's so complicated, in fact, that when you're a kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central. I signed the contract. But I signed the contract the way that a 28-year-old expectant father that was broke signs a contract. I was desperate. I needed a way out. And it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances. But what?
And I'm glad that he said that part, because this is something that I try to tell you guys all the time. I want you to pay attention that whenever an up-and-coming artist gets signed to a record label, they're usually always coming from the hood. Because they know that people who are desperate for dollar will do anything in order to achieve it. They know that if they take somebody who was living in a very, very unfortunate circumstance and give them a dollar amount, you're going to get an advance for $1.5 million. Every individual who had no money would sign so they can have that $1.5 million. Literally, you know, they're signing a contract that literally gives these management companies the right to do whatever with their name, whenever they want, force that artist to do whatever that it is, whatever agenda they need to push. That's why there are so many industry plants. I want you to tell me right now, how many people do you know in the industry were already rich and famous before coming to the industry? How many people do you know in the industry were already rich, bruh? Already had money before coming to the industry? A lot of these people in the hip hop community, a lot of these people in the R&B and even pop culture, they didn't really have much starting out. They really didn't. And that's why people like Dave Chappelle, he just explained, they signed under desperate conditions because of the life that they were living prior. But let's continue.
What else am I going to do, I said. And all these white people sitting at that table told me, trust us, Dave, it's a good contract. And I looked around the table and they all seemed to agree it was a good contract. But what if it was like that game of three-card Monte? What if they were all friends and I didn't know it? And the bag of money was Iceberg's money in the first place. What was I talking about? What was I trying to tell you? Last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I call Lauren Michaels and I tell him, okay, I'll do it. I'll do Saturday Night Live on election night. And the day I made that phone call, the day I committed to it, it gets announced that Netflix is streaming Chappelle's show. Not just Netflix. HBO Max is streaming it too. I'll tell you another story about HBO. No, hear me out. Did you know, before Chappelle's show was at Comedy Central, I pitched that show to HBO. I told them what I wanted to do. Now, these are executives. All they have to do is say, yeah, we'll take it, or no, thank you, we won't. But they didn't say either of those things. They went too far. They said, literally, what do we need you for? That's what they told me. They said, kick me out of the office. What do we need you for? And here we are, all these years later, and they're streaming the very show that I was pitching to them. So I'm asking them, what do you need me for? People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right?
Bro. Contract is deadly.
I found out that these people were streaming my work, and they never had to ask me, or they never had to tell me. Perfectly legal because I signed the contract. But is that right? I didn't think so either.
They literally own these artists, bro.
That's why I like working for Netflix. I like working for Netflix because when all those bad things happened to me, that company didn't even exist. And when I found out they were streaming Chappelle's show, I was furious. How could they not know? So you know what I did? I called them and I told them that this makes me feel bad. And do you want to know what they did? They agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. That's why I fuck with Netflix. Because they paid me my money, they do what they say they're gonna do, and they went above and beyond what you could expect from a businessman. They did something just because they thought that I might think that they were wrong. And I do. I think if you are fucking streaming that show, you're fencing stolen goods. They stole that from me. They just took it. And I'm not up here trying to tell you guys that I believe that Comedy Central gave me a raw deal just because I'm black. I believe that they gave me a raw deal because this fucking industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too bitches was trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it fucks. And I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster. When I quit the show, all my friends would say, well, fuck them, Dave. Why don't you just do Chappelle's show at another network? Yeah. And why doesn't a slave run from one plantation to another plantation? Because the master over there might be nicer. My God, man, I was trapped. You know what? Tell you the truth. I've even thought about coming back and doing another Chappelle show. Well, but if I do, I can't call it Chappelle Show because my name and likeness is being used by them in perpetuity throughout the universe. It's in the contract.
That shit is crazy, bro. He can't even start a show with his own name because they hold his name and likeness under the contract for perpetuity. That basically means forever. Until whenever that contract ends, or for whenever perpetuity is, you know what I'm saying? They own him. They own every part of him. He can't even start his own shit with his own name. That's crazy, bro. It's fucked up.
You're not supposed to do this in my business. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do. I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing. I am publicly flogging a network. And I know that this network niggas, they watching me and they saying, why are you doing this so publicly? Doesn't feel good to be flogged publicly. Oh, believe me, I know. I know exactly how that feels. When I quit my show, they said I was crazy. What was crazy about it? I just didn't want to do it anymore. They said I smoked crack. That's impossible. I was a devout Muslim. I didn't smoke or drink. But I do now, bitch, because you ruined my fucking life.
It's fucked up.
Now it's their turn. This is their first nigga lesson, and I'm honored to give it to them. They're going to pay me for this show. I called my agent. I said, is there anything I can do about this show? And he said, no. Well, fuck you too, then. If you want something done right, I guess you got to do it yourself. So I'm not going to the agents. I'm coming to my real boss. I'm coming to you. I'm begging you. If you ever liked me, if you ever think there was anything worthwhile about me, I'm begging you. Please don't watch that show. I'm not asking to boycott any network. Boycott me. Boycott Chappelle Show. Do not watch it unless they pay me.
That's real shit. Listen, man. This video right here, the video's about to end, but this video right here just goes to show you how warped, how diabolical the industry is, bro. The fact that they could put in legal writing that they own you, that makes you a slave. He said it in the best way possible. Why would I go from one slave master to another just because he's gonna treat me nicer? Understand that these artists who sign their name and ink to these record labels, it's almost like indentured servitude, bro. It's literally modern day slavery. The same reason why I really don't ever desire to work a job. I don't ever desire to work a job because I feel like that's indentured servitude. How are you going to sit here and tell me that my time is only worth $25 an hour? That's fucked up. You're telling me that my time, my life, is only worth $25 an hour. You're not going to do that to me, bro. The same way that these artists and these celebrities are getting bought out for a $2 million advance, and then we own you for perpetuity. Any single show that you do, anything that you do, we take a percentage of it. Not a small percentage. This man is not even getting paid for the show that they're making about him. He's not getting $1 off of the show that they made about him. Now, who got paid off of that? Obviously, the people who sold that show over to HBO, which is who? His management team and his labels. Those are the people who own him. They own rights to all of his creations, his intellectual and creative content. They own it. and they're able to sell it as they please because that's the ownership that they have in the contract. And this is exactly why I tell you, it's not only about selling your soul these artists go about. They sell themselves. They become what is bargained for themselves. They compromise who they are. They compromise their morals, and they compromise literally themselves as an individual to become this rich and famous celebrity that you guys look up to. How could you ever trust a sellout? How could you ever look up to a sellout, bro? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make logical sense in my mind. I can never look up and be like, oh yeah, that guy, he's a sellout. Anybody can make it as a sellout, bro. You're not going to be a drug dealer and not be rich. You're going to be a rich drug dealer, and then you go to jail. You're not going to be a celebrity and not have money. You're going to be a celebrity, but you're also going to be owned for the rest of your life until you die. But listen, man. I'm going to end this video right here. Okay, if you guys did enjoy, make sure you do leave a like down below and subscribe. Make sure I do subscribe to the Patreon link in the description as well. Let me catch you next one, man. Peace.